17-piece band with horns and
Yeah,
like
all that.
60
We're live.
you know.
We're
And
live
that's
without Lars.
what I grew up on. On the one hand, that, and on the other side, like punk and heavy metal stuff, and you know, God, even like, I mean, I liked everything from like Sabbath to like,
Yeah.
Dead Kennedy, from the go-go bands, to like Molly Hatchet and stuff. And then like in the 80s, I got, into like the new wave and punk in high school. And but
Yeah.
then college radio, I really got exposed to like a wide range of music and got into the like sort of underground rock scene, noise band, psychedelic stuff in the late
Yes.
80s, early 90s. And
You know what's cool? There's this punk band who they're these young girls, like teenagers. They're called the Lindas, and they play punk, and it's like
Nice.
so lit. I love them. They're
The
so
Lindas.
Yes, they're awesome.
Cool.
I think they're only like 13, 14, that age group. Like they're so awesome. I think they're out of LA.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds
like
fantastic.
the funk band when I was 15 on drums, and they were like older black dudes, had a bus, and like, played every weekend, different military bases, playing all over. But it was like them and then me with spiked purple hair, kicking the drums with them. But it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast, man. How long were you playing for?
I was
How long
playing
have
with
you been playing?
Go into college, and then I wanted to do like the underground rock band with my friend.
Yeah.
So
What made you get in? What made you get into that?
And then we kept that going loosely for like 3-4 years, and the band broke up, and then I got into the rave scene. I had always been into dance music, some of the underground stuff. And I also
light shows
and sampling, and did a project through the 90s that was like 4 records with my partner, a guy named Nick, and did like 4 records with him and played a bunch of raves up and down the East Coast, DJing and also live on synths and drum machines, which was always like, you never know if it's coming.
Yeah, that's like the most impressive thing, because you're always like on a tightrope when you're trying to do a set live. Like people don't realize like how technical that is and like what you're doing behind the scenes to make it sound dope. Like it's one thing to make a beat, and it's another thing to put together a composition that's like suspenseful. It has like the right drops. It has like has the ebb and flow where you're like chilling, then it like builds up to the drop, and then it drops and everything goes crazy, and you're doing all that live. My hat is off to you. That is fucking fantastic.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I had a doing it. Actually, I did a couple of projects. I did that project in the 90s called Hypermix, and then we sort of the guy I was doing it with, he got married, had kids, but we did come back about 5-6 years ago and do a little more like acid jams on old analog bass and drum machines, and so it was fun to like revisit it. And
hey everybody.
Yo.
We haven't even started yet.
We haven't. We need to play it. Give the people what they want.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Now we started.
Wait, I was dying. I was dying the whole time because Lars. Yeah.
Chris, you're going to be in the next one. I just didn't have time to set it up.
No, it's all good. I saw you snuck some new footage in there.
Yeah, but well, no, that's the old one.
That looks like look. I guess it shows how well I pay attention.
It's all
It's
good.
it's like every time I watch it, it's like the first time I watch it. That's how good it is.
Ooh, sexy.
Yeah, man.
Loving it.
Yes, loving it. Ran into a friend of yours today.
Oh, really? Who?
Do you know Scott?
Your mom.
Scott.
No, I'm playing.
Your mom. Shit. Scott.
I'm just fucking around.
Scott Baio?
It is Scott Sears.
Oh, I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, he actually work with him now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What does he do for you?
He is the production supervisor for like 16 to 20 roofing crews. Dude's awesome. I absolutely love the guy, and we were actually. So I had a bunch of Lars Tetens cigars out. People were all smoking, and we had this whole get together. I literally just came from there. He actually worked with him.
Sorry.
And,
go ahead.
No, it's all good. Yeah, we were all coming together, and then he just like, oh, you know, Laura. I was like, yeah. I was like, what? How do you? Like, oh yeah, we go way back. We share the same birthday, and my daughter was doing like some music stuff with him, and you ever eaten with him? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah, I jumped at the chance too, and I was like, "Hold!" That was like the Twilight Zone. I was like, "How the fuck do you know this guy?" But yeah, Scott says hi.
That's awesome. Tell him I sent my love next time you see him.
Yeah, we'll do. We got to do a rolling session. All the guys want you to come in and do a rolling tutorial.
You would be really funny though if you just like start. You just walk up to him and start making out with him, and then tell him Lars told me to.
I'm sure that would go over real well.
He said you'd love it.
You're onto something.
I'm hollering. Okay, that is too much.
So, Carl, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm about to fire
nice.
up the brief ecstasy.
Oh,
that's a good
Ooh.
one. That's a good one.
Handful.
Nice.
I've always had that one.
So
But I found something that I went looking for in the dungeon, recesses of my house.
Fire.
I found the first time I'd ever even heard of Lars. So I get this in the
shit!
here.
Look at that.
What are we?
Wow.
1988.
Cigars
There it is.
International, right?
Catalog, yeah.
What year was that from?
medium. Look at that motherfucker. That is just like we stuffed some extra in for you and just freehand rolled the fuck out of it.
That's
what
exactly
attracted
what it
me,
was.
The whole look of the medium grass. I was like, I have to have that. But I guess you could call me. I have a little bit of the hoarder gene, still having this stuff around. But,
Are you kidding me? I love
like
that.
my ephemera.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's some vintage stock right there.
Yeah, I got the medium
yeah.
grass, ordered the Happy Cubans, and spoiled me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, the Happy Cubans were awesome.
Yeah, Happy Cubans are great. The life changer is the Body Shop. If you ever get a chance to get your hands on a Body Shop, I actually smoked that with a friend, and it was life changing.
That's a little piece of heaven.
It really is.
And the SCPs, man, I love SCPs, and I can't believe I didn't have any around, and my friend bought some at like $180 a stick, and then hooked me up.
That's awesome. Just smoke ones that you made money on. That's Zen level right there.
Dang, look at that big ass torch.
Okay, so now, right? Oh, look at that.
There we go. We got the prop master. That's like perfectly framed right at the bottom.
I know. Cigar prop, Kevin.
Hashtag.
Here, Kevin, look at this, baby. I can't even figure out this thing. Okay, look at that. That's beautiful. Cigar prop, Kevin.
Hashtag.
Here.
I'm over here smoking a vintage Lars Tetens cigar from the 80s.
Oh,
Wow.
damn.
True
Nice.
story.
Thing's older than me.
Yeah, true
Definitely
story.
older than me. I wasn't born yet.
Oh, yeah. You're a baby.
90s, baby.
I wasn't even a fetus. I didn't exist.
Weren't even a twinkle.
Stealing
I
cigars
like
from Dad's car seat. They're like the drugstore. Robert Burns came in a metal tube, but they were like, but I still was like trying to chug away on them. So
Awesome. Carl, I like the thing. Where are you?
I am sitting at my dining room table.
Oh, okay, cool.
Got some awesome lights going on.
Yeah, I got this LED light, so I was messing with like different colors.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it was like
nice.
That's awesome.
Do you have your
Those
phone on a tripod or something?
booster pop. Let's see, hold on.
Do you have your phone on a tripod, Carl?
No, it's ghetto as hell. It's on a towel. It's an iPad on a towel. Propped up.
Okay.
Couple
Can you
boxes.
turn it
This
the other way?
laptop
So
won't connect.
can you turn it the other way so it ends up going like this? So it fills the whole screen? Oh yeah, baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, baby.
Sexy.
Loving it.
Uh-huh. Love it.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
real
there we
sexy
go.
for us
I
there.
love
Yes.
the blue light. I love that blue light. It's so cool.
It's great, man. We got psychedelic rock in the house.
Okay, so
It's
tonight
like
is a
really
special
on
night.
brand.
Tonight is a special night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Carl is going to reminisce about some of the old school Lars Teton stuff. So back in the day, when I was younger, not young, but younger, I had a website. If you guys, it was like one of the first in the social media stuff on the internet.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yep. So if you went onto the Wayback Machine, you can see a bunch of pages from that.
Way back, way
It's
better.
an archive.
Yep. And it's like from the 90s and stuff.
Yeah, that like predated MySpace, right?
Oh, yeah. It predated all the social media stuff. In fact, it was a huge social media site for the time. You know, not for now, but for the time it was.
Have
And
you wrote for the pages?
yep, I wrote all the code myself. I wrote even a special. So that website had something very special to it. Are you guys hearing my echo?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like delayed a little bit.
Little bit of.
He's like, you assholes. When were you going to tell me?
Am I sounding all right?
Yeah,
What,
you're
baby?
good.
Am I sounding okay?
Yeah, you're good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so this is the thing. I don't know why am I having an echo? This is weird. All right, whatever.
Echo.
Here, let me just check 1 second. See. Yeah, it has the
Maybe there's a delay.
Yeah, but there's a thing for the delay, and I have that on there.
No, that's your camera.
Turn it up a little bit.
Oh, whatever.
It's all
Okay.
good. We'll roll with it.
So at the time, I had to you had to write all the code. There was no thing like what we have in StreamYard or like you have GoDaddy and stuff like that, where you can just make a program and make a forum and make like a Facebook or an Instagram or anything like that. There was no drop and drag. You had to write the code for everything. And before that, there was no sites out there that had like big pictures you could put up or moving video that you could download if you were on a dial-up, because that's what most people were using back then. Am I right?
It took forever. Yeah, like
Right,
to load
so-
one page, it would take like
Right. So I wrote a
minute.
compression program that it would come up really fast, and you could see it in pretty real time, and you could put up big pictures as your avatar. But I'm going to let Carl talk from here because you could go ahead and tell your story.
Well, take a sip here. I was just telling them I started playing professionally on drums at 15 with a funk band out of the DC area. And they were older black guys, had a bus, played every weekend. And I started playing with them in like junior year of high school. And, went all over the place, learned a lot, and played some really cranking gigs too. And they were a mix of like funk and top 40 current stuff of the time. Talking like 84 to 89. And then I went to college and got into college radio and really got enamored into the underground rock scene. And again, late 80s. And so left the funk band with my friend that had joined. And we started a, like underground psychedelic grunge band, and worked with a producer out in New York called Kramer, and he was Shimmy Disc Records. And we were going to work with Steve Albini because we weren't really happy with the sound from Kramer. He was kind of like lacking in the mix, but really loved everything Steve Albini was producing coming out of Chicago, like Jesus Lizard, and bands like that. So he was going to come out to DC, and we were going to book into a place, locally. And his fee was like really minimal. And man, the band broke up. That fell through. And then he got another job and went and did Nirvana's In Utero album.
What?
And like Lars and I were talking earlier about Nirvana. And because when I was in college radio, got a job at the local like underground club, which is like a legendary DC club called the 930. Been there since like 1980, and started DJing there, and then got exposed even more. And that was like around 1991 or two, when all these bands were blowing up. Nirvana had come through as an opening act for another band.
Yeah.
And that's when but we were well into them and lots of other stuff. The Seattle scene was popping up. DC had a huge punk scene, also a big indie rock scene. And we were kind of on the fringe of all that.
Oh, that sounds epic, bro. It sounds amazing.
But so, and then from there, I'd always been into dance music and like underground techno and stuff. And, coming
underrated genre of music, by the way.
And then I was also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said underrated genre of music, techno is. Electronic dance music just in general.
Period.
Period.
Speaking of.
To open for bigger acts DJing at the 930 Club. And I was telling Lars earlier, my first big show was the Shaman from the UK and Moby from New York, who's, pretty big now, but he was the opening act.
Yeah, and, Moby. Yeah, I know Moby.
This was like 92, 3-ish, fuzzy on the year. But he was hot on the rave scene, but he wasn't a pop superstar yet, He wasn't mainstream yet. But and so I'm up at the DJ booth, just killing time before the show. Moby and the MC from the Shaman, this cat called Mr. C, come up to the DJ booth. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" They're like, "Hey, can we look through your records?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I start thumbing through my records. They're like, yeah, man, oh, it's called this way. And like, yeah, and like they're like, hey, do you want to spin on our turntables?
Sorry.
Like, yeah. And so that was the first time I'd like, turned a room out, just myself and me and the music, and place going nuts, and then Moby and the Shaman, of course, coming out and blowing the doors off.
Yeah, but how great did
I
that feel? How great was
awesome.
that moment for you?
Dude, it was awesome.
Take me inside the moment. What did that feel like? What
Well,
did you see?
I've been pretty down, with the band breaking up and stuff, and it was around that same time, 92, 3. And but I was like, I totally was ready to go and get into this other thing, because I'd already been hearing and buying dance records since the mid to later 80s, and especially like the early acid house stuff and breakdance.
So you were pulling a lot of samples.
Music,
you had a pretty deep library.
I have a large vinyl library. I just recently cataloged it, and it's like 2,100 pieces of vinyl.
So you might appreciate the new Mark DJ that I got right here. Right.
Nice.
There.
I didn't know how to incorporate the podcast setup to overwhere like my turntable and like a small rack of records are, but in my basement I have a wall of vinyl, and it's like stuff I've collected seriously since I was probably 12. And,
I would watch that. I would watch that stream in a heartbeat.
But so
Yeah,
930 Club, getting these gigs, that ended up turning to be a fucking 20-year job. And they moved uptown to a bigger hall, became voted many years in a row by Polestar, venue of the year, promoter of the year, for IMP, which is the parent promoter and owners of the club.
Yeah.
And then now they have a new place, the Anthem, in a new development on the water in DC. And I know they're itching to reopen. Clubs in DC reopen on what is today?
Today's the 9th.
They reopen on Friday. So people in that, talking about from the bar backs, and bartenders, doormen, the real day-to-day guys that are there every day, but not necessarily getting paid a whole lot. But you're always there for the experience too,
Absolutely.
But I know that they were hurting.
And during that time, Carl was actually on that forum all the time. He really remembers a bunch of the people from that forum, which is really interesting.
In the story, okay, so played a lot of rave scenes. Basically, 1994 to 2001 is a blur. Put out 4 records with my dude. They're collectible on Discogs now, just because they were very limited and I think pretty good. And I get a job. I had already liked cigars. I already smoked Lars from my Thompson's catalog, and I get a job at the local shop that I went to, and so he was looking for somebody. I was friends with the owner, Ryan, and I literally start the day after 9/11, 2001. I start 9/12, and talking about getting inside the vibe, it was the vibe of the world, the whole, almost similar to the pandemic, and just everything seemingly stopping.
Yeah, the world was off its axis.
Like crazy. Yeah. And his shop is in a busy downtown area outside of DC, and there's nobody on the streets, where everybody's in shock, of course. And so we, and then we finally start getting, back around it in towards, and then the DC area starts having, and I mentioned this to Lars earlier. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Chris, but the DC Sniper, these 2 dudes.
Yes. Yeah. They were just picking people off randomly.
Okay,
Yes,
so
just super
that's
random. Yes, absolutely.
and that's
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
that was
And
nuts.
and it's everywhere that I live and work is where this stuff is happening. And
Oh shit! So
so
you're
it's
like,
so
am I gonna be
shitty
next?
to like freaked out about it, but at the
What the
same time,
hell?
living with my girlfriend, and she's like, I have a really bad vibe that they're
High
close
five.
by, and I'm like, well, how would you know,
Wait.
that? How could you tell that out of thin air? And I kind of like pishot it, but so this whole time I'm getting on the Laura's bulletin board every day from the 24869.com board pre-social media and chatting with these people that were on there every day when I got on there. And one
It was
time I met
also
Jessica.
hateyou2.com. HAU,
Hate
the
you
letter
too.
H, then the 8, the number 8, and then the letter U, and then the number 2.com. HAU2.com.
Revolutionary name for its time.
I know, but unfortunately, I'm not going to mention the person's name, did not keep on top of my domains, and I lost like hundreds of domains.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
man.
Because this person set up like a few different sites for my domains, and then one of them, she just forgot about it, and I lost hundreds.
So I'm sitting on this your website all day, chatting to people because outside the door of the cigar shop, the streets are empty. No one's out. There's like usually Discovery Channel used to have a headquarters there, Chase Bank, people walking in, out all the time, and
Yeah.
nobody out. And they're saying look for a white box truck, and we're on like a hot state highway that cuts through the city. And
The vehicle that
so one
every
goes back
worker
like every
has.
5 minutes, and I'm like, shit, you know. So
He's
I'm like holding
everywhere.
back office, sitting on that bulletin board, and it literally kept me sane because it was like it kept going on, and the body count was going up. And I know Vice this week is running a show about it. And
Are
it
they
has,
really?
I think, from the perspective of the teenager, but I haven't watched it because having lived it, that was enough for me. And
Yeah,
I don't
too
think
close
that
to
it
home.
needs any spotlight whatsoever for that stuff. The older the man was put to death, John Muhammad. But thank you, Lars, from 20 years back almost. And that's that site literally was keeping me sane because we didn't have we weren't texting then. We didn't have all this connectivity, instant connectivity with all our friends. The only place that I had it was on that website. And I remember there was a girl,
So
Jessica,
wild.
down in Alabama, sent me a
Yeah.
box of those cigars, and those were freaking awesome. I know you mentioned the Ligero on the other podcast, and I was like, but you didn't mention the cigars. But I was like, man, that one was that was a kick-ass cigar ahead of its time, definitely. And haven't had any of those since. Do you still do those?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And there are shops around the country that have like huge amounts of my old stock.
Not around the TC area. It was bought up long ago. But like long ago, there were a few places, and I had gotten Ryan to carry them at the Tinderbox before I worked there.
Yeah.
And then when I worked there, we like added more, and then I could like promote them, and which he was cool with as long as they sold, because it was kind of a little bit pricey stick, not out of line, with everything else we were selling, but yeah, they moved.
Yeah. So you guys, that's like a funny thing that you guys never saw because you're all too young.
Except me, I'm possibly a little older.
Yeah. But it was a funny website. Do you remember that girl who tried to commit suicide?
Damn.
No,
Yeah, there was this girl who was like,
it's got heavy in here.
yeah, and then all the people on this forum, like I think I came later before the thing ended. I can't remember exact all the details, but they ended up like contacting this girl's parents or something. They like
Wow.
did all this search, and then they had somebody come to this girl's house, and they ended up saving her. She was alive, but it was crazy. And she
Wow.
was like talking to all the people there, and they like talked her down from it. There was some pretty interesting stuff going on that
That's
website.
amazing.
Because they were like really cool. It was like reassuring with all this.
And everybody was like family on that site.
Like very cool, definitely.
What did that do for the movement? Being able to kind of get that, did that do anything for the music scene at the time?
I'm not really sure.
I feel like 9/11 definitely affected it. It affected. There may have been some canceled shows. It didn't stop it for too long. Nothing like this pandemic shutdown. I mean, that's unprecedented to happen to nightlife. But I remember after 2001 going to see this band at the club Cigar Roche, and coming in from one of the streets that's high up on a plateau coming into DC, and they had like the Jeep with the missile launchers, parked at the edge of the hill on the street. It's just like, wow.
That's crazy.
And much like back then, much more stopping traffic, checking people than I ever remember before or since, And I've been going, was going down to DC as a teenager, get into shows and stuff in the 80s, mid 80s. First show I saw the 930 Club, the old 930. I was like 15, 16, was the first tour of the Chili Peppers. And of course, it's like in show.
Love the Chili Peppers.
Original guitarist Hillel was with them. And just like never seen a place, a venue get blown apart before. And it was like, it didn't remain like a huge fan of theirs, but it was always that first time, that like the cherry, of seeing them.
Yeah, the cherry's always the best.
You always remember your first.
Was heavy funk, and that's all. I'm totally into that. But
Hot cherry.
Get out of music after that.
Hot.
Into the OOs. So I really wasn't feeling a whole lot. And I was at that point been playing out almost 20 years, so I kind of took a break for a little while, and then came back with Sharky from DC on a couple projects with him. And that was one of the links I sent you. And that was more like a hip hop with like heavy Moog synth and really like dark vibe.
Oh my God.
I was like, where did she go?
Little peekaboo.
I teleported.
No,
damn. But on a sorry about that. I just Anyways, wait.
We're waiting.
Where are the comments?
I know I can't see any of these comments. The comments I can see on this thing, but I can't see any of my comments on my thing. I don't know why.
Shout out to everyone trying to comment. We appreciate you.
I'm really sorry I'm a moron. But my comments are not showing up here. And honey, we got to figure out how to go ahead and do that on the actual
Lars
thing. Yes.
People figure it out.
Lars, I think in the beginning, like when the first person went to go like comment, it said you needed to tap it to show it on the screen. Maybe you missed it.
Oh, you need to tap it just right.
Oh, I didn't tap it.
You got to tap that shit, man.
Oh, okay. I don't know where to tap it.
Give it a tap-a-roo. There it is. Oh, I saw one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thing. Oh, Veronica, how are you? That's Alazandra's cousin.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
I wish I could put these up. Veronica says hi.
Hi, Veronica.
Hey, Veronica. I'm looking at ones on my thing, but I can't tell. I can't see what everything. Hey, Bob, how are you, baby? Thomas. We got some folks out there. Hey, so this was a pretty cool thing because you guys got to hear a little bit about the old school, you know, old school social
The
media.
social network there. They should have made
Yeah.
a movie about that.
We didn't have all this
Fuck
accessibility.
Facebook.
Lars and the crew were kind of mysterious and elusive, you know. But there was this board you could get on that, you know, people were on there. But do you remember, Lars? You had the original troll on there, Topo Gigio.
That was the young kid from Canada, right?
It was always like the most insulting stuff, and but it was like seemed like everybody seemed to tolerate it like it was a joke. You know,
Okay,
or like
so do you know that kid? He was up in Canada. He was just a young little kid. I don't know how much I can say because we're on the internet, but all I can say is that Interpol got involved in
That's
dealing
serious.
with that kid.
Whoa.
And then instead of putting the kid in jail and stuff, I had him work for me. So he ended up running the security for that website.
I was gonna say, yeah, those are the people that you offer jobs when you catch
Yeah.
Get him in
them.
You told me this, Lars. You told me this story.
Yep. So I'm not going to go into more details than that, but yes.
It makes sense. But his little shtick was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
he
like
would,
I don't, you know, a troll was like a little, you know, little doll. Like he was like the original one, you know. It was like
but
little
this
you
this
know?
young kid used to put all these pornographic and disgusting pictures on my forum. I ended up having to get Interpol involved,
what a
but then
nightmare.
he ended up like working for me, and I paid him really good, and it was just hilarious.
And now we have
Or-
Reddit, a proper place for all those things.
Yes. It was really cool.
The internet hadn't quite matured yet for
There's
that
somebody
content.
who's on their thing. What's happening to people? But I can't see who that is on the Facebook.
What isn't going on? But what is going on? How are you? Welcome.
But I can't see who
to
that
the
is.
stream.
This is the weirdest thing.
We have no idea who you are, but thank you for being here.
Thank you for being
Yes.
you.
We love
Thank
and
you for tuning
appreciate
in.
you. Absolutely. If it's Care, shout out to Care. Haven't talked to him in a little bit.
For my early relations and musical endeavors. It was nice to do.
Hey, James, how are you, brother?
And do that, man. I really appreciate it, man.
ATL in the
awesome.
house.
ATL in the house, brother. James, how you doing, baby? We love you.
Maybe he's a basketball fan and he's whooping these Sixers.
James is a great guy. Yeah. I'm sorry I can't have his picture on there, but James is awesome.
Blessed.
Yeah, so
appreciate that.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting back in the day, man. We had some wild stuff going on. It was pretty cool on this forum, but there really wasn't anything else like that on the internet. And once MySpace came in, I really loved MySpace. So
yeah, you guys way into it.
Yeah, so I just ended up shutting down the board and I just went full blast.
Yeah, that's how I first really
right.
HitYou2.com.
Like where you guys had a presence. It's like, okay, check it out. I
Yeah.
had a personal page, but I had one for like a band, you know, one of my projects. that I'd been doing, and
I thought MySpace was one of my favorite social media sites.
What
our
did
band
you
name was
What did you
Alazandra,
like about it?
That you could literally
and
create your own web page. It was crazy. You
Yeah,
had so much control over it. Nothing else is like that even now.
like pimping your page out, the
no,
background.
yeah,
That was fun.
you almost have to have like your own actual website right now to do something similar to that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so easy to do. That was the other cool thing about it. It was a really easy thing to maneuver. And
The coolest thing was like that I always liked because I'm like a huge music buff. So like it was the fact that you could like go to different profiles and like you would play like you would like play their favorite song or something like that on that. I thought that was like that was really revolutionary for the time. And you got like, so not only did you get their vibe from like the backgrounds and the pictures and like what they were writing and stuff like that, but you actually got their soundtrack. And I thought that brought like a lot of context. Like, how cool would that be if you go to like Facebook right now, you go on Twitter or something, and you're like scrolling through these profiles and stuff. And like, as soon as you go to a profile, like, it starts to play like the song that they wanted you to hear, like when you're scrolling through their content. Like, that would add a whole nother dimension to getting to know that person and understanding like kind of where they're coming from and what type of person this is. And that's actually been lost. Like, you actually got more detail about people then on MySpace, which is
It's more
actually pretty
homogenous
cool.
platform uniformity in the look. No, not much, only small opportunities lies. And
Yeah, it was
stuff.
like this is what I'm about. Here's like a whole thing, here's like everything that I'm like. It just it just was like a concise, consolidated page of like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, all that good stuff. Here's some interactions. Like, now it's like, especially like Twitter and Facebook, like you have to piece people together like over time based on what they post, and you have like 140 characters to do so, or whatever. It's all just like bite-sized. It's all sound bites right now, and you have to like look at the trend over time. Ooh, look at that. That's gorgeous.
All right, just thought I'd throw it in there.
What was that? What was in there?
It said slight hit. All right, anyways.
show it again, baby.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, put my spectacles on here. And it's
That's my tits. No one's like,
that's amazing.
yeah, man. Rock on.
That's
All
a
right,
very
sorry. Just a little.
That's a very confused guitar.
Yeah. That was multi-binary before. That was sexually binary before.
Before it was cool. Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, happy Pride Month. Hello.
That's right. Hey.
How you doing?
Appreciate you all. Shout out to the heroes. You're all super
Oh,
brave.
I love it. Oh, that's so cool.
Ooh,
Oh,
I love it.
there you go. Have it scroll through. There you go. Get the rainbow going.
Just let it go through the different colors. That's so cool.
Let me taste that rainbow.
That's so cool.
I love
Making fun of Lars.
That is awesome. Beautiful.
Super cool, honey.
What was the first social networking that you did, Chris?
So, considering I wasn't allowed to have a MySpace because my parents were Nazis, the very first one. So I caught Facebook. Facebook was the official first one that I did. It was back when it was only, you actually had to have a college email address in order to be on Facebook. So I was there I'm like a Facebook OG'er. That was the first like kind of foray into there, where we actually used to have to go and like we'd go like right on each other's walls. Like if you go back to like the original stuff, like it's all people like posting like random conversations on each other's walls. There was no messenger, there was no anything like that. That's where I really got into that. Are you having troubles over there, sweetheart?
No, I just love
Not at all. Nope.
I love
Okay,
it.
I didn't think so. I just thought I'd ask. It's a random
Exactly.
question that popped in my head.
Ah,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a struggle at all.
No,
So
I know you're good.
Are you going to
No.
twerk for us, honey?
not this
Right.
time.
Oh, come on,
Oh.
honey.
Dad watches this, I know.
Hey,
Chris,
my
do
mom's watching.
you remember early Facebook? You could load different things of interest to your own page, and now it's just like all that personalization's gone. It's just the feed,
Yeah.
like your.
My
But, like,
favorite
you
thing
have
was like the different Facebook groups that you
your
could have. Like you would be able to,
and
you
that.
yeah, you'd be able to bring in like all your different interests. You could like be like, this is all the music that I liked, and this is all the movies that I liked. They would like list them all, and then like you had these groups that you were in. And, like that's where the actual conversations were going down. Like I remember
we had that on our website
Yeah,
back in the 90s.
there was one. This was right around the time when like the scientists all got together and said like we're just gonna fuck with everyone, and we're gonna now just decide that the designation of planet has changed, and now Pluto is the most beloved planet of all time is now no longer one. And so my favorite group of all time was when I was your age, Pluto was a planet. And they had everything in there. You could talk about religion. Does God exist? Does not, I mean, it was great.
Pluto was a dog.
You're right. You're not wrong. NASA found out a way to deep fake him onto the onto actual Pluto. If you like look up the like the deep probe, yeah, I said it. Images from
I'll say deep probe. Happy Pride Month.
Hey. They actually they're like, oh, it's so fake. Like you can actually see like Pluto the dog in there. They're making fun of us. Space is fake. Blah blah blah. That's the whole conspiracy theory behind it. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Space is fake.
Space is fake. Yeah.
Like lacking, enough oomph to become a planet, to be a planet. It's just like
come on, man. Maybe you should have tried harder. It's like, come on.
I have a theory. What if Earth is the underwater city of Atlantis and space is water?
Wow.
Think about it.
That's
because
a lot.
when you look through
all right, it's time for me to smoke some CBD.
When you look through the telescope, right, and you're looking at the stars,
a little bit of
hazy.
Like
there's like
know that
nugs.
Lars Tetens Haze.
There it is, baby.
Get it.
But it
put
looks
it
like
on
there's like
we're gonna put it on Mr. Tiki back
there. The reflections. Wait, what the hell is that? Oh, is that a lobster?
You like that?
What the fuck? This whole time I couldn't even see it. Hey, what's up, man?
That's
all right,
my lobster chilling.
No, for real. When you look through the telescope,
Rodney's on there.
What up, Rod?
How you doing, baby?
Car Ramrod.
Rodney's Alazandra's dad.
Hey.
Rodney Washington wrote a great book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's an amazing author. Hang on one second.
It's called Born in a Manger.
Say it again. Born in a Major?
Born in a Manger.
Oh,
and
Born in a Manger.
You can find it on shakeandco.com, I think. And it's this like really dark, like gangster vibe novel about, I don't know, just like some pretty gruesome, violent things happening, and then what it's like just like in the street life and shit.
Look at that.
Nice.
It's a really good read. It's different.
I'd love to hear how that ties into the whole manger thing. Look at that. Yeah. It's a G right there.
You gotta read it and find out.
I know, right? Lars, I'm stealing your
Yep.
copy next time I come to see you.
Yeah, I'd be interested to read that.
Brother Trife.
Called Born in a
Yep.
Manger.
Brother Trife is the main character, and he's
Side.
a real badass character.
Yeah, you can
And
buy it at
be
Shakespeare
friends with
Company.
people because they would be in the clubs too, and everybody wants to party. So yeah, I had friends with numerous people over the years that were like, definitely on the dark side, But I think everybody's okay.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, and it's like it was always like the flirtation was easy because they're mainly like pretty cool, chill dudes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people go through that phase and or live their life where they kind of flirt with / like kind of play with their own mortality.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Is
like
that what they're calling it these days?
it's a game of
Respect at all costs. You're like, the throw caution to the wind years.
Yeah, the I'm invincible, nothing can stop me. Absolutely. Yeah, I can hear that. There's a lot to be learned in that. There's a lot to be learned in that phase. That's the time to get all your get a ton of stakes out of the way, just fail as early and as often as possible, and learn as much as you can.
And I did. I sure did.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, you meet a lot of interesting people. You get a lot of different perspectives. Like when you're trying it out, you're feeling out like kind of how you see the world and like the way that you're shaping your perceptions and and the way you think about things. That's an incredible time, and it never stops. Like honestly, it never stops. Like, I personally, I always try to learn from the people around me. I try to get around people that have a diverse amount of opinions. Because you're never, you're either growing or dying. So I never want to be the latter. And, but that's like a hyper, like that's like a pressure cooker time of, of kind of the shaping of your, the coming of age time where you're really testing the boundaries. Like it's a beautiful time.
Yeah. True story.
A lot of great movies made about people in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
What I remember seems like a movie, and it's like
I'm sure it was. It sounds like one.
The soundtrack to it when I pull out, something from a certain year, it's like takes me back.
Yeah. Music is a time machine.
Youth, or a one for you, Lars, early Butch Vig production, The Bastards. Really good, just sicko noise stuff, like very early production of his, not, large SSL console type of mix. But The Bastards is the first time I'd ever heard of Butch Vig. He produced it. And
yeah,
from
Butch
like
is the man. He's awesome.
Really early.
And a very good golfer.
Wow.
Actually, Billy Corgan, he's amazing golfer. That guy is really incredible. He was the lead singer from Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, still
Yeah. The NWA, the old Southern Wrestling trademark organization, and is working on bringing that back. Like, and doing all this like reunion Smashing Pumpkins and like anniversary of Gish I saw coming up, and they were another one at the old 930 Club where I worked. We had them on 3 bands for $3, and it wasn't even sold out the first time they played. When they played Gish, they had 2 7-inches out, one on Sub Pop, but Gish hadn't come out yet, just yet. It was due in like a couple weeks. So they weren't
2 7-inches out. Sounds like a party.
Hello.
Hey.
Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Because they were just like, it was right before they.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that caught
that. That's what was cool to see back then. It was like these bands popping up through the underground, and all of a sudden they explode and they're playing arenas.
That's cool. That's got to be really cool to watch.
All for MTV and just, selling shitloads.
Yo, MTV.
And the guys that I worked for were also, along with Perry Farrell, original promoters of Lollapalooza. which actually like the early Lollapaloozas happened outside the DC area. And first two happened in Virginia. And so it's like, yeah, that was like, you know, it all coming together, you know, all those sweaty nights at 930 Club, now on the big, you know, big scale and like just tons of people. And it was like, wow.
Well, we're going to see Alazandra move like that in the next couple of years.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, that's
Hell
what,
yeah.
like some excitement. And that's what
We lost
really,
Chris for a minute.
Damn.
Sometimes that happens. His internet goes out or something, and he'll come back up.
But I think as the world comes back and the underground and the clubs and the concerts and the festivals and the people and the vibe comes back, this time people are going to fucking, I hope, appreciate it and really, you know, bring the vibe, you know, to 100, to 150, you know, and I think shows and festivals that first come back are going to be really.
Did y'all see that?
Up and going nuts. People
High
are ready
five.
for a piece of raves or a death metal show or like, you know, all night underground dance club, you know. People are like,
Oh,
ready.
man, I remember going to the rave and leaving at 9:30, 10 in the morning and having breakfast.
Exactly. Well, because the headliner would go on at like 6 a.m. It's like, shit. The one you really want to see, you know, is like, and
There would be people having sex all just right in the open in the middle of the fucking place, like completely naked having sex.
in New York at like 7,
All
8
over
in
the
morning.
place. Oh my God. I swear to God, you'd walk around and you'd see
parked
tons of couples everywhere.
That's
just
peak
in
ecstasy
the open
right there.
having sex.
That's
All up
beautiful.
and down the street.
That's
Big
beautiful.
cab cars, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was like,
Yeah.
like
It's
the
so
old
crazy.
New York, you know, still like a little out of hand.
Yeah, we'd be
Was it-
dancing. I used to go with a whole little crew. And, you know, at that point, I'm now old and fat. I mean, right now I'm older and fat, but back then I was old and fat and going to the place. So I didn't have a good body. Like when I was young, I had a good body, great stomach muscles, everything, good arms. But at this point, no, my stomach was fat. And so I'd be dancing. And this one, I had a bunch of girls that used to come with me and go dancing around me. But this one girl, she was super, mega fucking hot girl. She used to pull my shirt up and then like rub against my bare stomach. This big fat stomach. And a bunch of guys were all trying to like hit on her. Like, you know, they were all dancing right around us because they all wanted to hook up with her. And they would just look at me and just be like, oh, that's disgusting.
You know,
And I'm like, yeah, dude, I know how you feel. Because when I was your age and I saw some fat old disgusting dude with some hot chick up on them, I was just like, oh, that's disgusting.
now, Lars, you have a vinyl release very early in your old school canon of music, which was like a new wave electro single on CBS Europe.
No, that was more like some rap stuff.
More rap.
Yeah, and then I did more like that. Getting Sicker was like back my record company that my mom set up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was what, like 2 or something?
Fuck, it was a long time ago, man. It was crazy. I can't believe that I've been even doing this thing for so long. It's insane. And now I'm getting like radio airplay and shit in Europe and stuff. It's crazy.
Really?
So I never released it in Europe.
They're just like, give me that. I'm playing it.
Yeah, I've got radio airplay. It's just crazy because they're going back and playing all that vintage stuff.
Exactly.
And so a lot of them are liking that American vintage. And plus, I was doing some pretty cutting edge stuff back then.
Pretty cutting edge.
Alazandra listens to it, right, baby?
Yeah. Body like, working on the dance floor.
And does go back.
What, brother?
I said it was like my man does go back. I'm always like props to the old school, blah blah blah.
Oh my God!
It's like definitely.
Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny when you like think like about what you did when you're a young kid, and then now it's like when people are starting to listen to it again and they're into it. It's kind of weird, man. It's just funny.
And back then, you had to work for any kind of exposure. Now you can get yourself on, any number of these platforms and, become a star just on that,
Yeah,
Shit is-
it's crazy like the way that people are getting exposed now
well,
with like
it's
TikTok and
like,
everything. Like it is so entertaining.
So
Like
your dad asked me when I'm going to dye my beard blue. I don't know. I was thinking about it, but I kind of like the gray too. I just don't know what to do. I don't know.
rainbow, bro.
Go
I was gonna blue, but
Rainbow.
aren't I going to look creepy with a blue beard and be so
RG
old?
Biv.
I don't
I
know.
like
Just do it.
natural.
Rainbow. Happy
I'd
Pride
ask
Month.
Alazandra what she thinks. I'd ask.
What do you think, Alessandra?
Female
Go
opinion.
blue.
All right, I'm going to go blue.
Oh.
We'll see what happens.
Go blue or go home.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Wait,
But
but if you're gonna be playing bass at the festival, it has to be blue. So
The
one
head-
way or another, you have to.
All right.
Right.
There you go. Oh, look at that.
that's
am I looking
one
at?
of my
Nice.
favorite of yours, man.
Yeah.
Oh snap.
But the Hendrix medium grass, what an awesome
Yep. Wasn't that great? Do you see that picture of Jimi Hendrix?
box.
Yeah.
Several bundles myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. That is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a funny thing when you look back on your life and you like done some really things that just you didn't really see it from that point, but it becomes your life when you follow that kind of stuff that you
And
do.
things you have done start to become part of legendary scenes and stuff, and people are like, wow, they want to know about whether it's CBGB or the old 930 Club,
Yeah.
and like, what's the biggest rock band in the land? That's the Foo Fighters. Just announced that Madison Square Garden show, but that's Dave Grohl from the DC area, linked up with Nirvana, and it's just like that continuation of the wave, and from like a pretty big bang that was happening back then. So,
Cigar prop.
but now, we have all this instant exposure and everything. So it's a different vibe. There was no chance for stuff to get pent up now. It's just everything's out there.
Yeah, it just comes up.
And the one thing I really love about this whole platform is that you have like real just conversations with people, and sometimes you fuck around like we do, but we like to have real conversations about shit that we really or like something that's going on that week or whatever that we're all talking about or whatever.
Enjoyed talking about the music and the smokes, because I've always been smoking the Lars, and I will have like a Padron every now and again, but not really so much of the bigger brands. But I like a DC area guy.
Padron in 1926er.
Like, but mostly I like yours.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, the two that I'll smoke that aren't Lars, I like the Padron, the 1926, and also the Liga Privada whole line. Yeah. Those two are my go-tos if I'm not puffing on a Lars.
I have a tinderbox locally, but it's more like a hopping bar lounge,
A hopping bar.
Yeah. Oh man, it's always packed. It's like
Yeah.
as soon as you open the bars up, like they're packed out again.
It's good to see now that everybody's getting back to normal.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear about the
Definitely.
you hear about the go ahead, sorry.
really like these ones out of Miami called More and Bode or Bodie, More and Bodie. I don't know. But at one point they were so hard to get, we got them just wrapped up in tin foil from
Oh
them.
shit!
That's how you know they're good.
It was like,
Damn.
that was a really nice smoke, and I haven't seen their stuff in 15 years probably.
I remember when the VSGs came out; those things were pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like they toned them down a little because the really kick ass, and then they got to be like.
It's not the same, man. It's not the same. But I really loved those when they first came out. Those were good.
I wondered if taste change, or it's like, because I first started smoking like a punch Corona or something,
Right.
It's like early consistent smoke that was, inexpensive, $4 or something, And before I, expanded my palate and tried other stuff.
Yeah, cigars are definitely interesting. That whole little thing.
Well, all yours had different.
Lars has a freaking $1,000 stick out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
too.
that's a Sanchez. Sanchez has a very good collection of my stuff going back. It's got to be over 20 years.
Wow.
Easily, maybe closer to 30 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking through.
He has sticks from a long time ago.
This packaging.
Yeah.
The
nice.
ones in here like the Mashy.
Yeah, that was the golf cigar. Actually, that golf line is the line that Butch Vig liked the most. All the golf cigars.
Golf was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then you had you didn't just have a T-shirt for golf; you had a full golf clothing line.
Yeah, I did. I used an entire clothing line. I 100% did.
I could only imagine the debaucherous nature of that line.
Oh, well, hang on one second. Let me think.
I was just like, there's nothing else.
You will see it. There is a little bit of debauchery. Yeah.
We have debauchery.
Yeah,
Not to worry.
Yeah. No.
The archive.
This is a golf magazine called
Swing and a miss.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Hey, speaking of golf, did you hear about the guy that had to leave mid-round because he got diagnosed with COVID and he was winning by 6 strokes? Look at that.
No.
Page.
Right. Other brands had it. This is
so skateboarding on the fucking golf course. Wait a minute. Here, wait a minute. Skateboarding on the golf course. The girl with the bald head, that's my ex-girlfriend.
It's like no one else has this.
Cashew.
That's insane.
And that's me in the middle. Can you imagine when I was younger? And then, Frank up on the
those polo model looks.
Yeah.
I love the hair, Lars. Definitely giving me vibes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks, yeah.
But yeah, I got to be proud for always being ahead of the game on, just vibe and creative expression is just, as always, since I've known of your stuff, and just I was just always impressed with what you had coming out, in addition
Thank you
to the
so much. Yeah, it's a fun little ride, man. I never took myself that seriously. I just wanted to do the best I could in the business that I was in, of whatever it was.
Or something like that, your own car. I really expected to see the Lars sports car or something eventually happen. Just something,
what the hell?
Chain. Off.
Why not?
Fuck a Tesla. Get a.
No, trust. Believe me, there may be something coming. I've been wanting to work on cars. I got a couple little theories on how to create new energy sources, but whatever. I wanted to do it a long time ago, so that's something that may come up. Who knows? Depends on how busy Alazandra keeps me.
What? Oh,
I'm sure very.
Trying to blow up big, man.
Yeah. Sometimes she gets a whip out, starts hitting me with it. It's crazy.
That's what I need. You know.
Whoa.
Man,
I was thinking whip, like about to whip out of here. She's like,
No. Well, yeah, that too.
but I mean, how
Get into
like
whip.
what's your energy source? I need to tap into it. You know, I know like at one point there was youth, but
What now?
I was saying, you know, bringing all this stuff to fruition, you know, all these, you know, projects that you've done, food to mechanically engineered things, skateboard, you know, killer cigar line, which I still is the, you know, the flagship. But, you know, man, where do you find the energy and drive? Is it just a natural thing, or you just really, you know,
Well,
I know at one point
I tried to always eat as healthy as I could. I took vitamins. I never drank alcohol. I never did drugs. I had a really, and Alazandra could tell you, I work out every single day. I had this shoulder injury. Right now, I'm still working out 2.5, 3 hours a day. And my just arm hurts like crazy. But I had a full shoulder replacement from my elbow all the way up to almost my neck.
wow.
Yeah, and that was just a little while ago. If you look at some pictures of things, I had my arm all
yeah, it
immobilized.
was not that long ago at all.
Yeah.
Like, was it like a month ago, maybe? Not
Yeah.
even.
So I'm working out hard on that arm every day now. Doesn't matter. I do martial arts and boxing and all that other stuff, and it's good, man. It just keeps you healthy and
Right.
strong. I do a Chinese
You see-
internal art called Qigong.
Promoting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is incredible.
So
Like that.
Chris has been training Qigong with me. I've been teaching him some of the Chinese internal arts.
Yes.
You tell him what you feel. I don't know.
All right. So I can tell you from where I started. I was living the salesman's life. I have like pretty severe ADD. So I was taking Adderall for that, or basically, you know, legal meth to try to, you know, get me to do the things that I needed to do. You know, which also, you know, got me on edge. So like there was cigarettes involved with that to try to like take the edges off. Like it was an extremely unhealthy lifestyle, but like in order to do what I needed to do at a high level, and be up and be that guy that was the mover and the shaker and the provider and all that good stuff, like that was the life that I was living. Enter in an internal art called Qigong, and I very early on, and Lars was always like, you know, you don't have to do that. I said, no, Lars, like this is going to take the place of the Adderall, the stuff that I'm being prescribed. Like I am starting to very early on feel the benefits and the focus and the energy levels that are very consistent with, like, for me, being on medication without all of the negative side effects. So I was actually able to replace, like, I stopped completely being on Adderall. I stopped completely like smoking because I wasn't doing Adderall. I can tell you this, it's improved my mood. I have been a lot more productive, and like just in general, like my interpersonal relationships have improved. And I can't say enough about how it's been my secret weapon for years now.
And it's hard for people to really understand unless you do it.
Yeah.
Something that's really, it's almost impossible to clearly express it. Am I right, dude?
Yeah, because you start talking about, like, you know, because energy doesn't even start to describe it, and you start to try to, like, once you start to try to put into words what it is that you're experiencing, like, especially like while performing it, it starts to break down. It just starts to kind of sound like, really, was I really about to say that? But it's it's pretty wild. You know, half an hour a day is life changing.
That's
for
awesome.
me. It's the staple. It is the staple of my existence. I will say that now. It has replaced all other things. It starts my day. And there's been times where like you start to like not you might like lapse a little bit, and I definitely notice a difference. My performance as a person changes. I become like an entirely different person like when I'm not practicing it. It's that huge. So yeah,
Wow,
it's
and what
it's
exactly?
It's a very ancient Chinese internal art. I studied with a master, and I was one of his. Well, I was his disciple. I was one of his students, but then he made me his disciple.
Wow.
It's pretty
yeah,
intense.
it is the most profound, effective, and just all around improvement. If I could choose one habit in my life to continue on for the rest of my life, that would be it. If that
Wow.
says anything.
And if you
Yeah.
remember from my old line, Fat Cigars, which came out in the new run with Alec Bradley, was Sun Fu Ka.
I
That's the
like
name. Yep, that was
on the
named after
scale. Like,
that was named after my Chinese master.
oh, that was a person. Okay.
Yes,
Was that who was on the art?
yes.
I'm sure I have one in those stack
Yeah.
in that stack right there.
I have another master, Shingyo Hashimoto, that also was on some of the art. It's on a painting that's right here in my place. He's always next to me.
Yeah, it's a really
his
beautiful
family,
painting.
yeah, and his family are like the last real royal samurai family of Japan.
Yeah, it's an amazing painting.
Because Adderall is a really strong amphetamine. You know.
Yeah, it is. And I was in sales, so I was actually doing I was doing one call close sales in the home improvement sector. So the expectation is that you walk in, and the same day, 2.5, 3 hours later, you're walking out with a check for a $10,000 or greater project. That was the expectation. If you did not sell that project, you did not get paid. It was 100%. It was 100% commission gig, and it was there. The amount of pressure was insane. So what Adderall did for me was it helped me to focus and make sure that I was able to hang on every single word that the homeowner was saying, being completely present of mind, being able to assess the situation, ask the right questions, make sure I was meeting their absolute every need, and presenting it in a way that was not only was accurate, but also compelling and entertaining and persuasive enough for them to be like, I just met you like literally a few hours ago, but I trust you now enough to here's my checkbook. I'm gonna write you a check for $3,000 or
Right.
10 grand or whatever it was. You have now earned my business, and I want you to take care of this project for me. So that was what was at stake, and Adderall was what kind of helped me give that, get me that edge. And my sales skyrocketed once I got diagnosed. I went to a whole psychiatrist thing and everything, talked about like I literally like look at people and I'm watching their mouths move, but I can't really hear what they're saying. I know that they're saying something, but my mind just isn't present with it. It was really frustrating, because it was not only affecting my interpersonal relationships, it was also affecting like my professional life. And so that was what the remedy was. But it also kind of came at the expense of a brand new smoking habit. I never smoked. Like, it was not, I only when I got into that job and on that was that ever a thing. And then it was, and then once I met Lars and he showed me a different way, and I started feeling the benefits, I made the prediction. I said, this is going to happen. My goal is to get off of Adderall. I see this happening, and I'm starting to feel, and all I can say is you just feel like, the feeling, you drink a Red Bull or something, you get that little caffeine or something, like you get that little serotonin kind of like focus in, and like for that very brief time, you're like in the zone. It's like that, but like all day. There's fluctuations to it, but the more that you do it, the more you're able to enter freely into that flow state that allows you to be hyper productive and extremely focused and effective at what you're doing.
Yeah. That's 100% right.
And
That's
that's
amazing. Yeah. Lord,
Times we
you were
benefited.
starting to train me in that.
Yeah, I did. I started training you in a bunch of stuff: grappling,
Martial
And I don't
UFC, boxing.
believe, but I've had,
boxing. Hmm.
affected by, the other person and their Adderall use was like a really, and you're the first person I've ever come across just in conversation that's been like, I found another way to get off of that, and it worked out, in a positive manner, because it was like a deal breaker in a relationship that I had, and even though the person was helped by it, all the negative stuff was really hard to deal with, and
yeah.
like it, and you said, it affected, different aspects of your life and the relationships, and I was like, and I really feel that when you said that, and I've never really heard it from a different perspective. But I definitely applaud you, man, in going for the holistic route, the natural route, and and
Thank you.
and a relationship I had, man, if that person got off it, they would be the most awesome person. It's like that shit was fucking them up, but I don't want to like down it, because I know it's hell people, and there are plenty of people
No,
like,
but you're
you are
absolutely
right.
absolutely right. I mean, just the general theme of, okay, can you take a pill to get an immediate effect and take and move the bar from here to here, but what you're not seeing is over here you might be taking another bar and lowering it to get that effect. And what a lot of people don't do in this society is look for the other way to accomplish the same effect. They're just like, all right, well, great, I can just take a pill, or I can just do this, and I just have to live with this other, and this is my life now, as opposed to, okay, in the immediate short term, I have an answer for it. However, I am still looking for a way to get the benefits without all of the drawbacks. Does it work in all cases? No, of course not.
right.
But in general, it is better to, if you're just eating healthy or something, as opposed to taking a pill, or there's only so much that supplements can do for you, like taking hydroxycut or whatever the case is. Yes, will you see some short-term benefits? Absolutely. Will it help you make you feel yourself better, feel better about yourself? Without a doubt. But by far, what's better for yourself long term is to study while you're getting the short term good effects of like what the pill's doing for you or whatever that is. Also be researching, how do I make this long term while being a lot more holistic or organic about it, and more sustainable, because it really wasn't. And especially with Adderall, what is that going to do long term? Because it definitely increases your heart rate. So my heart is literally going to beat millions of more times than the average person by the time I'm, whatever age. That can't be good. That's probably going to kill me sooner.
No.
I probably should find a better way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
I'm not a gynecologist, but that really didn't make sense to me. So
Right. I mean, we're all not gynecologists, but I mean, facts. I very
some
well
of us
said.
more than others.
Yeah.
Personally, do not like.
I know I'm not a gynecologist.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, no, seriously, like, and speaking of pharmaceuticals and all that, oh my God, I remember one time I was prescribed gabapentin for anxiety.
Bless you.
They had me at such a high dosage, 3 times a day. I'm taking like 2 of these pills. I forget the milligrams, and I only took it for like 1 week, a week and a half maybe. And I was like, all right, let me get off this. Immediately, my body was addicted to the gabapentin, which, why the hell are they prescribing that for me for anxiety? That's for like nerve damage. And right, I mean, horrible, horrible withdrawal symptoms. I was like shaking,
Yikes.
cold sweats in the middle of the night. just like
That's not fun.
nauseous the whole day, completely drained of my energy. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. Only after 1 week of being on the gabapentin, like they just give you
Really?
anything. Like they're like, here you
They
go.
really, they really,
Yes,
they really
after
will.
1 week.
Yeah, it's crazy, which is why I'm gonna put Lars on a pedestal right now because like God bless him for what he's doing with his shoulder. Like we heard is like you basically elbow all the way to shoulder, like way more of a replacement than is usually necessary. Um, barely any, like just as soon as he possibly could, getting off any kind of any kind of narcotic, any kind of that. Like he doesn't take anything and just deals with the pain because like the studies show that if you're on that for like even as little as like 2 to 3 weeks, your chances of being like physically addicted are some ridiculous. Like don't I'm not a math magician, but it's somewhere around like 70%. It within 3 weeks of taking it, like the prescribed dose of a narcotic painkiller, you will be physically addictive and experience withdrawal symptoms when you try to stop. That's crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
just a surgery. That's a surgery that happens all the time, every day. People get replacements for knees, for shoulders, for hips, for whatever other joints exist. Again, I'm not a gynecologist, but that's case in point, like it's an epidemic. So like the fact that Lars is like doing it without it is, I mean, it's fucking painful. And
Well, they made it like that. That's on purpose to make money. I mean, they're legal drug dealers that are selling opiates to the masses and getting huge amounts of people addicted to drugs.
hell yeah, that's why we're in Afghanistan. We got to protect those poppy seed,
Exactly.
those poppy fields. CIA and the U.S. Army is the biggest drug runners there fucking is.
And well, I'm a medicinal marijuana patient in Maryland, and it's been legal coming up on 3 years now. And
God bless you.
Thank you. And also been a patient in California, but because of getting rear-ended by a tractor trailer in 1994, I've got the screwed up back and shoulder. And yeah, the next step beyond, like if the medicinal didn't work for me, the next step would be opiates, and I would be hooked on. I'd be taking them all the time, and
Really?
so I do a lot of topical. I mean, yeah, I smoke and I vape the concentrates, but I also use like topical that has CBD and THC, and literally I'm putting it on, doing my whole arm and shoulder, and it's the only thing that works. And I also had broken my jaw in a motorcycle accident, separate to the other accident, when I was in like 7th grade. And so I have like problems with the jaw stuff. And so I put that stuff on here. When I first tried it, I had been like pain for a month. And it was the only thing. I was like amazed I was able to go to dinner that night and eat normally. And so, yeah, I'm a big advocate for that,
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
CBD is probably one of the best things out there. I love CBD. I literally
some haze.
Yeah, right there, baby. Smoke it.
Yeah.
That's a Lars Tetens haze. Go to sugarlux.com. Get you some.
Get you some haze.
Yep. And so
beautiful buds. Beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah. I smoke that every
just like all of you
day.
out there.
That's my my little CBD.
Topical, the CBD is killer for swelling. Like,
oh my God, inflammation, amazing. It really is incredible. It really is incredible.
It actually is, yeah.
It will give you a little more level of pain relief. But for the person that doesn't have like a tolerance, like, I do, like that's, CBD is plenty. But, if you have more, of a higher tolerance, you add in CBD on a 1-to-1, or I'll do a 3-to-1 THC to CBD topical. I have various ones that I like, and, life-saving as far as pain relief, that, because I didn't want to, it's like, I definitely have the addicted personality, and getting on painkillers, I think, would really screw up my life. and because it would, it would just, yeah.
The data backs you up on that. I mean, it's just statistically what happens.
And so it's really
that's 100%.
And as far as like, yeah, there's stuff I can smoke and catch a buzz and it's chill and stuff, but really it's the topical that has been the most, like the smoking relax your body, your muscles, your mind, that's a positive, but then adding in the topical that's getting on those nerve endings that are screaming, that's really been a changer.
Yeah, I have actually experience with that. I have the CBD THC topical, and so like I have some stuff like going on with my hips and things like that from like old sports injuries and just like the repetitiveness of like hitting the ground and stuff like that. So I have some like mobility. So I'll massage it in and everything, and then I have like kind of like a massager that I use that really like gets into the muscles that are like really tensed up around some of those areas, and it's like 5 minutes, and it's like I'll do that for like a few days straight, like in the morning, and I'm like good for like a while. Like I actually stopped doing it because I'm like, okay, like how is this possible? Like I didn't know that I could get this level of pain relief and have it like be consistent. So I like literally that happened like 3 days ago. Like I just started that. Like I found it. Like I was like, oh, I didn't even know I had this. Like let me try this. And like within 3 days of doing it, I was like waking up like I don't hurt anymore. This is wild. So it's the only thing I changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can personally attest to those topicals. I was super skeptical too. I was like, there's no way if I don't smoke it, it doesn't work. Period. If I don't eat it.
Well, your skin absorbs everything.
It works on the pain.
Yeah, it absorbs everything. I mean, you can do vitamins with little tabs. In fact, I think that's really the way it's going to go in the next few years. You're just going to have like the nicotine patches. You're going to have a patch with vitamins that are going in your body.
And they have
make it. You won't.
Wear.
Yeah, I'm sure they do that too.
Get you a Lars patch.
Pop.
Pop.
Right.
Pop.
You should make it, Lars. What the hell?
I go on. I think I'm gonna have to try that thing. See what's up. What's doing that and my Nicorette patch or whatever the fuck it is. It's like.
There you go. Got it all figured out.
Yeah, I never smoked cigarettes. I never had any nicotine.
It's probably my worst habit.
Yeah.
Of any.
Cigarettes are no good.
No, it's bad.
They're not great.
Alazandra is improving so much. I cannot wait. We're going to shoot a little video of her playing lead guitar.
Yes, I had the very brief pleasure of hearing her live the other day, and it was amazing. Let's just talk about that for a second. You, girl, are talented, and are going places.
Yeah, and it was so amazing.
Thank you.
She had only, when you heard her, that may have been the third time she ever played lead.
Wow.
Am I right, baby?
Yeah, like I just started playing lead. You just taught me like how to do some stuff with, lead guitar and whatever. And
I had
excited.
her do scales. I had her do a bunch of scales just so she could get her finger strength there. But then after that, I had her doing lead, man. That was the third time. Right now, she is killing it, man. She is killing it.
Yeah, she got them vocals on lock too.
Yeah, amazing vocals. She's a great songwriter. She plays drums like a badass who's been playing for 30 years. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Like that
well,
track. Cool. I just checked that out today. But I remember you from the Dip and Smash video.
That's right. First we're going to dip. Then we're
going to smash. Then we're going to dip. And we're going to smash.
Yeah, that was a real casual video to totally appropriate video.
Yeah.
So
it was good.
Totally appropriate lyrics.
Focus all your energy.
Totally appropriate.
It was so appropriate.
Mess, and you'll go far. Everything else is just a distraction.
Disney Channel approved content.
with someone like Lars as a mentor and friend, like, you know, that's how, you know, this is how you make things happen in life. Bring things from the idea to actual, to fruition.
Yes.
To have
Yes.
product. You know?
I am so excited, you know, just working with Lars one-on-one like this, and I'm just very lucky, very blessed, because
Definitely.
it's like he's like the human hack, the human cheat code. He just fucking like, and he's just teaching me everything. Like, it's like,
He
damn,
is
like
a human cheat code.
this is better than any college course, any fucking, like, where are you gonna learn all of this knowledge? I mean, he just does everything.
You know, master's level education.
Mm-hmm.
I think well, say I'm a dropout of high school. I only finished ninth grade. I'm pretty stupid, but I think that the thing is that I see things in a very simple way, like really simple. And I'm not really that intelligent, so I don't overthink anything and think, you know, oh yeah, Lars, you can't do that because that's like impossible to do. I just am too dumb to understand that, so I just go and do it. If I want to figure something out, I go and train. And when I trained with a bunch of masters, and I knew, listen, etiquette is so important when you're going into those kind of schools. So I'm just like was trying to be the perfect student, so I didn't get beat up every day, or you know, my senior students kicked the shit out of me, which happened. But you know, I just wanted to be a really good student, so I trained my ass off with those guys, and I just, you know, I saw a lot in a lot of schools, like they don't really teach you the high level stuff until you've been there 15, 20 years. And I knew when I was going to start training people, I would just teach them right away as high level as they wanted to go.
Wow.
So that's what I do, and it could be many different things.
And it's benefited. I'll tell you this, because we're bringing it back to the whole Qigong thing. It's like, you know, he's like, you normally you would learn one form of this art form a year, and I had already learned like 5 in my first year, and it would like under that certain tutelage, it will like it very much accelerated my growth in that field. So there is a way to learn to get to assimilate a lot of information in a very short amount of time with the right teacher.
Yeah, if you can, you got to just teach simple. So like I had Alazandra, she was already arranging her own songs and coming up with her own chord patterns probably within a week or two, right? The first thing I was doing was teaching her how to play her songs. So she could play her guitar and drums and arrange her own stuff, produce her own stuff. When I first met her, I told her, I am not going to do any of that with you because you already know how to write songs and you are a great singer. That part, you're great. You really have a good understanding of arrangements too. But I want her to be able to do it all herself. So I trained her. Guitar, trained her in drums, and I'm training her some martial arts so she can kick the shit out of anybody who messes with her. Right, honey?
Yep. No, seriously, I just feel so excited to be learning so much. I mean, just I'm learning so much, and to be guided from somebody who knows what they're doing, especially like in the music industry, and just everything that Lars is teaching me, like to have this opportunity that really nobody else ever gets is just, I feel so lucky, and I'm really excited to do really great things, and I'm seeing the progress. And you know, when you have a dream, sometimes you don't exactly realize the true reality of how to make the dream come to life. And here I am on my way, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait to start doing shows. Like, I can't wait to show you guys what I've been up to.
Yeah, and it's funny too because really,
you don't find the mentor that matches your interests, that takes the time, you know, to bring you under their wing. And I had a few, and I wish I had more, you know, especially into later life, like where it's like I felt a little adrift at times, you know. But it's so it is rare. It is rare. It's more in this, in the modern era, to find people, that are true mentors,
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
it is.
giving of their time and knowledge, and creativity and encouragement and warmth and friendship. It's special. So definitely.
Patience.
Yeah, you're right. And
Lars
like
is so patient with me.
the interesting thing, yeah, patience is huge. I mean, that's a huge trait. The one thing that is interesting about today's time is you can get a lot of information and a lot of training, and you have access to information that was never available before from unique
Right.
perspectives because of the Instagrams, because of the TikToks, because of that. Like you have all of these like influencers, like you have all these people who like supposedly have this knowledge and this experience, and they're trying to share it with people, and they're trying to like mentor, but it's only one way. And a lot of people like it's the whole adage of, and this will never change, is that a lot of people let good get in the way of great. And while it's good to have like to get information from, as many different sources as possible, like it's not really a mentorship relationship. It's people just getting information from, a lot of good sources. Some of them are bad, but a lot of good, like quality sources, but you don't get that back and forth that you do with a traditional mentor relationship where they're watching you grow and they're literally tailoring their teachings to you specifically, not to a wider audience. And that is what is being lost. We're being told like, here, go watch this video. You want to learn this, go watch this video. And it's not like about go find somebody who can actually learn to care about you and develop you over a course of years so that you can become the better version of yourself. Like that's just not what YouTube is. It can be for some, but it's not the mentorship relationship, and it's getting lost, and it needs to continue.
Definitely. How to harness the creativity and really, make something of it, because anybody can make something and get it out there. And whether it's a little TikTok or whatever, it could be the hot thing for like 2 seconds, but then it's gone. But songs last forever, and they have the lasting power. They have the power to make you feel, to make you go back in time, and to really harness that songwriting creativity and develop that is, what's going to stand the test of time, and what will also, pay royalties, down the line, as you get older, and it only takes that one to fucking hit it big, and you'll hear it, in the gas station, 3 a.m. or down at the supermarket, and it's like, there's that song. It's like, man, like you always hear it, and it just takes that one to really hit, and you could be, set, so. But I feel like, with the information that's available, you get the picture, you get the outline, but you don't get the vibe and the soul and the intensity that connects it all, and that's where, the mentor can really show you how to put it into gear. Like, this is how you get on it right away. So you're not limited by maybe like, a technology, or, it's just like something, they help you bridge a gap that allows you to just let it flow, and that's when you're just, you're letting it flow, and then you can always go back and edit and work things out, but
yeah, that influencer is never going to they're never going to meet your family. They're never going to learn who you are. And they're most importantly not going to look you in the eye and say, I believe in you. You can do this, and we're going to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like that is so powerful, and is what you just is missing from I mean, again, it's not, I don't want to make it sound like I'm hating on influencers and stuff like that. They're great. They're amazing. They empower us all. It's awesome. But have a mentor, seek out a mentor, look for somebody who can watch out for your long-term vision. You can bounce ideas off of. They can tell you that's shit, that's amazing, let's work on this, let's curtail this. Like that is what was more needed. Find that one person, that really you can, that's going to take you under their wing and like, here, I'm going to take you with me, show you what I have learned over the past years, and we're gonna accomplish something together. Like that's what needs to be found more.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, I'm just so lucky because I mean, Lars has learned from the best, and now he's teaching me, and he's just like he knows so much, and he's like Lars. How Lars and I met, like I didn't even seek him out. He didn't even seek me out. Like we were just brought right together, and that's a story we'll tell you one time. But I don't know if we'll tell it now. But maybe in a couple shows later down the line. The story is actually really hilarious. But yeah, it's just crazy how you like. I see this quote. The teacher arrives when the student is ready to learn, or something like that, something along those lines. And so, I mean, Lars is a lifesaver for real. It's like, because it's so easy to just like let emotion. I'm a very emotional person, if you haven't already guessed that, but I am. And sometimes I can really drown in the emotions, and it's just hard to like keep a clear focus on the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what did
I was saying? It's easy to get discouraged sometimes, and especially now when things always happen instantly, and you got to put in, you got to put in the time and the work and really get good at what you're doing. And for some, maybe it was instant, but it really, it's going to take putting in the work and
10,000 hours, baby.
10,000 hours. And Alazandra, she is really going ham now.
Hit stage, get some club shows in, and really make it happen.
Yeah, Alazandra's really working now, man. She's hammering it out. And she plays every day. She's playing her guitar scales. She plays drums. She plays. She rehearses with her guitar playing, full on with drums and bass, whatever. But this is what she does.
Media.
She's like, it's like being in the military, right, honey? You're doing training all the time.
It's all day, like all day long. I mean, like sometimes we have some fun moments, like we'll watch a movie or like eat good food, but that's about it. The whole rest of the time we're like working. It's all work. It's not really a lot of
It's the hours in the studio and rehearsal and writing that really make the difference.
I love recording music, but it's so important that I learn how to be able to perform and be a great performer. And Lars is teaching me that, and he's teaching me all the little tricks and secrets of.
Yep, and also she's like going to be able to literally be recording her own stuff where she's playing the instruments. She's playing all the instruments, so it's going to be her. It'll be really her. That's like the coolest thing, man. And she's one of those rare people. Not everybody can do that. Alazandra. But it's very, that's going to be difficult for anybody else to be able to just go in and play every instrument.
Yeah, there's very few
that's
artists,
cool.
even of the major artists, that there's very few, if any, that actually can do that. Yeah. I mean, that's a really rare trait.
A handful. That's it, man. Alazandra's going to be doing all her own shit. It's going to be so cool, man. And right now, she can literally play any of that stuff that she wants, and it's awesome. But she's going to be recording that stuff where she'll play all the instruments. It'll be brilliant, man.
Can't wait.
That's awesome.
Can't wait.
Yes. I love the journey. Lars reminds me to stay in the present moment, because a lot of the time, it's the instant gratification. You want something to happen now, but it's not. It doesn't happen that way. And if it just like lands in your lap and you're not ready for it, first of all, it'll go away just as fast as you got it. Like, I don't want that to happen.
Right.
And once you're in the right place, doing like I feel like you start getting these opportunities once you're in the right universe, and like you said, the opportunities call. You got to be ready because if you miss them, they'll just call the next,
Yes.
On the local list of who can we get to open for, a bigger show, but then it ends up being like your biggest exposure yet, and then that leads to even bigger show, because they really liked you. Or then like, that A&Rs were down from New York with their artist and they heard it and they like, it's just like all these chance meetings can really turn into stuff, and
Yeah, that's how it works.
that kind of stuff.
Oh.
That's why I stayed with 930 because
I got lucky with this guy.
They always had opportunities every now and again, and it would be most of the time something really cool. And it was just like, yeah. So I kept my foot in the door there for like 20 years till they basically were like, get out.
What are you still doing here? Leave. Like,
start when you were 21. And it's a very much a young person's game, because that's when the time to do it. And
yeah.
You don't want to have any regrets. You want to be like, man, I wish I had done this, or I really wish I had, put my time into making my,
yeah,
or whatever.
That's right. That's right. Go for it. Go for it. Like,
yes.
It's time. Like, do it. Like, for heaven's sake, stop wasting time and do it. Like, there's no better time than now.
Now is the time. And I feel like everything in my life kind of happens like, I don't know. I believe in like miracles, and I just feel like the right things happen at the right time. And I just feel like, you know what, when I'm meant to be someplace, I'll be there. And how I just met Laura is just so random, like just so crazy. Like, what the fuck? Like, damn.
Yeah, I was actually I was actually reading a book on mastery. It's a Robert Greene book. He also wrote the 48 Laws of Power and a book on seduction and a book on it's like the something laws of war. And he just recently wrote another one, but the one that I was reading was called like just mastery, and it was talking about the need, like what we were talking about, like why, like you need to have in order to master something, you need to go through these like steps. You need to like find a master and learn from them and all that stuff. And like literally like within 2 weeks, somebody gave me Lars's number because they owned a tobacco shop in the Q Mart in Quakertown, and they knew him. And because I told that person that, like, that was in like vaping was getting like real big, and like my friend brought to me, like, he was like, here, try this. And I was like, all right, this is like hazelnut and vanilla. Like, I named like all of the things that was in it, and like she was like, oh, you have like a really good palate. I was like, yeah, like I actually do have like a pretty good palate. And she's like, you need to know, you like, you need to know somebody. And she took me up with Lars, and that is how I fucking met this amazing human being. So
that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really wild. Literally was reading a book on mastery, and the master himself shows up. Say his name 3 times and he shall appear.
Diane is a really awesome person. She's great woman.
Shout out to Diane. I was actually designing her deck for her. That was what I was out there for.
Wow.
Yeah, I was out there. It was an appointment. It was from my old job. The one that was, popping addies like it was no tomorrow. It was that job. I was out there for an appointment. She wanted a deck, and I was like designing that, and we just got on the topic of like, like what she does and all that. We just, one thing led to another, and freaking Lars came up, and it's been rap ever since. It's crazy.
I told Lars earlier, when I got out of college, I just wanted to run away and join the Lars Tetens factory. I was like, I'll sweep up the clippings, I'll scrub the bathroom.
That's right.
I just, but I really didn't know how to make that kind of bridge, because they were kind of mysterious. It wasn't all this open accessibility like today with social media and stuff. But it's but that was my like total dream back then. I was just like, I want to go to I want to work at Lars Tetens factory, learn to roll, learn to blend, learn all the different types of tobacco, all the different types of aromatics, the essential oils, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of knowledge there.
Fun place, like this is just like open creativity happening from these people, and that's what
there is. Yeah, being around creative people is the best place to be, because it always feels like the future is in constant motion, and you're part of making that. It's like, if you're not around creative people, you're living in other people's worlds that they've created for you to experience, as opposed to being in the room where the experiences are being created and you have say in it. That is the incredible spot. That is the position that me personally, I want to be in.
When you're bringing them, you're bringing them into the vibe and the feeling and the emotion that you're putting out, and
that's right.
They're getting on that wavelength, and and in some cases they might be having like a wild reaction to it, and it's amazing. It's like, it's the addictive part that's healthy, Yes.
It's like, yeah, cool. Because it's, you see what somebody is reacting to that you created. Like, I would much.
Oh, we lost Chris. We'll be back in a minute.
Well,
good.
I love this whole journey that I am on right now. And looking back, I realized, wow, like all of the time I wasted, it's just like, I just need to like stay focused on what I need to do. Like,
it adds the urgency to it. Like, you use those experiences to kind of fuel the fire that is like, I know that I've wasted certain, or you at least feel like you've wasted it. You didn't waste it. You actually didn't, but you feel like you did. And now you throw that on the fire, and that fuels your current efforts. And you use that in a positive way to drive what you're doing right now. And that's part of, like, you turn that, what is a perceived negative, like there's a lot of people that dwell in depression and all that stuff about like those things, like, oh, I have these regrets or stuff like that. It's like, no, like what you have is built-in fuel. Like, while you were learning, you were just creating fuel for the fire that is now burning and driving you to a end goal. Like, that's that. If you didn't have that, then you wouldn't be doing that now. Like it that kind of like made sure that you in this position now have the fuel to do what you're doing. You got to flip it. Like, it's all mindset.
I feel like I'm in a race.
Mindset.
I'm not even in a race against anybody else. I'm in a race against time, I feel. But I know I have to remain patient.
It's so true, because it goes fast, and you'll end up looking back and being like, man, I fucking wasted so much time. Because I know that's, when I, fell into the trappings, whether it be negativity or unhealthy things, I know now that those were just time wasters, complete fucking bullshit, and just take you away from the original goal. Yeah. And I would have wasted way less time, in high, if I had known how fast it was going to go, definitely. But I also feel like I am.
Time flies.
I still.
Oh, what's really?
That's why you got to listen to old heads when they tell you that.
You know what's really interesting? I was this was a fascinating thing that Alazandra told me that I really took very interesting. It's like so I was asking her about like why is it that like me as like an old man can understand how to navigate social media better than most of these young kids that I meet? Because when I started with social media, I was working. That was my job.
Hmm.
I was writing code, I was building sites, and then, going in and running shit. So it was like work. I didn't really think about it like it was a fun or, having a good time. But then Alessandra said, "Go ahead, babe."
But think about all the peer pressure that the
Well,
kids have on them
basically,
Yeah,
to navigate it. Go ahead.
go ahead,
yeah.
Alessandra.
I mean, like for just like the average person, we look at social media as like entertainment, you know? We don't really look at it like a job, or you may not really understand how to work the social media to really grow the audience. And having the guidance from Lars is very, very helpful because now it's like really clicked, like, because I hated social media, like, oh my God, I just can't, like, I can't deal. I'm like, this is just, but you gotta just work it to your advantage, and
Part of the job.
it's a
And be your
yeah.
natural self. That's what I told Alessandra. Just be yourself.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, just be yourself, man.
Because then you're like,
Because
shit, who am I?
yeah, well, when I listen, Alessandra, we will get into the story about when we met at another one because this would be another 2 hours.
Tune in next time.
But I swear to God, within like a day, I saw, like, I talked to her a few times, whatever, before she started training. But within a day, I saw that she had that like it factor, and that she had this brilliant mind. She was, just really could see something there. And then, sometimes she get impatient, distracted, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But she get back focused again, and then back focused again. She's
When you're fucking nuts and
works.
crazy out of your mind, it's easy to get distracted. No, I'm playing. I'm not crazy. I'm
Not at all.
just the emotions can get like very like you could literally just drown in your emotions. Just like it's easy to fall off the deep end. But when I have my whole day, I'm focused and I'm like pushing against, like, it almost feels like a weight, like I'm already carrying this huge weight, and then it's like I gotta keep moving forward, and then eventually throughout the day the weight lightens, and it's like, okay, like, and look, I'm moving forward. It's the small habits, the daily habits that you do every day is what creates the success. It what creates the momentum. It's not like some magic thing that boom, all of a sudden, oh wow, all of a sudden you're there. Like, no, like, you got to be ready.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. That's why it's every day. It's the amount of hours that you put in creates your destiny. You put a ton of hours.
It's exhausting, but I mean, it's definitely going to be worth it.
It's like with the band, it was like
Absolutely.
But then when we were doing raves, it was like we'd get a good rave gig and we would go into production for like a month, and we were heads down in the studio every night till late, for like a month, writing and, and just like getting all new, all fresh. So we could, because we knew it was like, all right, we play this place again. We got to come back with the sledgehammer of beats, just some really heavy stuff, and, putting in the work. And then, it really does, pay off. Double Chris. We got stereo.
What the
Chris.
fuck?
I don't know.
Yeah,
What is going on?
Sorry,
Just-
my other phone died. You can get rid of that. I have no idea why the
okay.
connection's still there. I didn't know we were gonna be.
I was like, what?
I connected it. I just thought it would be funny.
You cloned
Yeah, I'm at
him.
20% on my iPad. Mine dies like 88% on the phone.
Got it.
Okay. There we go.
I couldn't get on unless I got Firefox.
Yeah, there.
Nothing would work. But
Oh, okay.
Firefox was right there. So.
Well, this was a good podcast.
There we go.
This was a fun podcast.
I had a lot of fun, man.
Definitely.
Ready to get into
Had a blast.
And we have to do our outro little video, which the next one will have Chris in the video because we shot a little video. So
awesome.
Little pictures something for the one. But I love you guys.
Love you.
Chris, is there anything you want to promote?
Love you too.
Nice to meet you, Chris and
Good.
Alazandra.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Alazandra, make sure everybody go to her Instagram, her TikTok, her everything.
Alazandra Official.
Yeah.
Follow
Make
me.
sure you
It's
support.
Alazandra Official on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud. It's just Alazandra. Just spell it that way.
SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/DJK303, mixcloud.com/DJK303DC. Got some real old 90s archival stuff up on there. Chris, do you have a SoundCloud or?
Right.
We check tunes from you, man?
I do not. I'm on Tidal. That's about it.
Oh, right on. There
But
Cool. I love Tidal.
in high def.
Well, I love everybody out there. You guys all have a great evening, and I'll see you. Oh, tune in tomorrow at Kerr's show, Smoking Road Diaries.
All righty.
Love you guys.
definitely do that.